Alrighty, we made it through the month of January, and it was a wild ride full of highs and lows and lower lows. So, at the beginning of the month, I got married, and it was amazing. We had a courthouse wedding and then a wedding reception at this small venue, and everything turned out so perfectly. Except people did get sick, got sickness spread around at our party. It was a perfect party though, and everyone's okay. It was like a mild, probably that Omicron, because the symptoms for that is not really bad. But yeah, and then after we got home, my car broke down. So I hit really low lows with that. I have a lot of resentment towards my car. And then it had to break down on me, just completely failed. So that's going to be thousands in repairs. But from the wedding, we got cash gifts since we're not about collecting a lot of things right now, especially like we're not even trying to stay in the apartment we're in right now. So I'm especially trying to get rid of stuff this year, so we didn't make like a registry or anything, but people gave us lots of cash gifts. So the total cost of the wedding was like $11,000, and me and my husband, we paid for most of it, but our parents also paid for a good amount of things. So after the cash gifts, we got back all of the money we spent on the wedding. Yep, so that's why my income is so high for the month. So, also, the spending chart here is not accounting for anything car repair related, because I was getting really stressed about how my low spend was going to be ruined and I couldn't meet the goals I set for myself because I'm going to have to spend thousands into this stupid car. But I ultimately decided that anything car repair related that I have like no control over, these sort of things, like that's coming out of my emergency fund. And the things that I have are predictable expenses that I have control over. Like I don't want to shrink my fund money to pay for a stupid car that I hate. So like my fund money is going to stay where it is, and I'm going to keep trucking along with the low spend as I intended for it to be. So this is not my actual spend for the month, but still, it's, as far as my low spend challenge goes, it's pretty good for having my wedding month and a little road trip in there. 14 days of leave. But like I would have spent more if it weren't for the car issues. But also I would have actually spent less. I would have spent more for my low spend challenge, but I would have spent less overall for a month if it weren't for the car troubles. Anyways, so housing and utilities was pretty spot on, a little under predicted. So $644, insurance and transportation pretty spot on, $206, almost exactly, which is kind of weird. I think I did underestimate that because I did not account for the road trip gas cost when I did that, but I ended up not being able to drive to work and stuff this month, so that balanced out. The gifts and donations a little lower than expected. I'm always trying to get into the mindset of overestimating as far as the gifts go, and then whenever it's unnecessary to spend that much, that's good. That's fine. Whatever. Food, entertainment, and shopping. So I did end up really squeezing myself on that. because I spent so much on experiences instead. So I am, for future months, going to shift around that money. Like, I made a few changes to this spreadsheet, and adding experiences was part of that. So I just want to allocate more of my funds to less to collecting things, even if it's like digital things. Like, that's a lot of what my entertainment budget is spent on, collecting digital things, and more on going out into town and exploring. Yeah. So, really though, the experiences for January were on our little road trip. We stopped at Hot Spring National Park, and I wanted to go to the historic bathhouse there. So that was really good time. And just being able, for the short time we were in town, to walk around the national park. We did a proper hike. So yeah, $14.84 for the month, going towards my low spin challenge. So of course that's a little over, but really just for the next 11 months, if I hit $12.80 spend, I would be spot on for my annual spending goal. Alrighty, on to the fun stuff, investing. So I was not sure if my change in percentage allocation for TSP would take effect for January, but it did. I'm putting 30% and getting the 5% match, so I'm including all of that in my TSP contribution here. But also, because I hit my 3-year point halfway through the month, my base pay was a little weird, so it's going to be a little bit more for the following months, because I'll be fully over 3 years. 500 into Roth IRA. So these two goals, these are the ones that are going to be met no matter what. But my stretch goal is going to be a bit of a stretch. So yeah, so the only reason I had 200 to this brokerage was in case my TSP change didn't take effect. I still wanted to allocate a certain amount of funds to investing. So yeah, due to car troubles, did not see the need to add to my sinking funds. I instead need to work on building up my cash buffer to take this big hit to my savings. But next month I will work on sinking funds a tiny bit. So, annual tracker. My long-term savings are sitting at 27.6 thousand. It's pretty nice. And that's just my cash stuff, not including my investment accounts that vary in their balances day by day. So yeah, the annual tracker. So my true spending for the month was $1,803.86, which also is not that bad, but also this was just spent on getting assessments to the car, which is like, I don't know what costs that much to tell me the car's transmission is broke. I feel like when I brought it in, I knew that. But I digress. We'll get through this eventually. February is when the real heavy bills are going to hit. So investing, $1,449.32. That's honestly really good. And so 1,500 is about what I'm expecting to hit month by month for the rest of the year minimum. And so the extra savings for this month is almost entirely due to the extra wedding funds I got So I ended up putting the $3,000 from the wedding funds into a share certificate with Navy Federal because they're offering a 5% for 15 months certificate. So I was like, gotta get in on that. I immediately put $5,000 from my savings in there, and then I added $3,000 from the wedding. And I plan on continuing to add to that because 5% is better than the interest rate I have on my student loan debt anyway. So whenever that takes effect, I'd rather keep putting money in there into my certificate than paying more to pay off the student loans faster, however that whole situation winds up. So my savings rate for this month was 73.67%, which is really high. I do not expect to be seeing a savings rate that high again for the rest of this year. It should be negative next month. But my net worth is sitting at an all-time high at $33,250. So that's pretty nice. So this is what I'm going to be expecting to make for the next few months at least, because now that I am married, I did start the process for requesting BAH but from the command, but yeah, it's quite the process. And then once I get that routed, then waiting for payroll to make that change take effect in my actual paychecks is going to take a while. So this is what we're going to be working with for a little bit. And yeah, I made a change in allocating more of my fund money towards experiences, and investing is the TSP is gonna be $971 essentially. And the Roth IRA will flop between $500 and $625. So I'll get around $1,500 a month into investing minimum, because these two goals are going to be met. I'm going to get max out my Roth IRA. I'm going to get $11,250 in my TSP minimum. So we're like already well exceeding that goal, I think. I'm pretty sure. And the sinking funds, I'm going to start working on the fine dining, because in a couple months I do actually want to go out, and half the fun with that is going to be researching the different spots in the area and figure out where I want to go. And that's all I have for today then. So once I'm actually receiving BAH, then this stretch goal will become a possibility. But until then, we're just going to be trucking along at a bit of a slow pace, honestly. That's how it's going to be with the low amount of income we got going on right now. But you know, like even just hitting my TSP and Roth IRA goals is going to be very nice, very nice. Thanks for watching. Bye.